I hope so. Now they do fine. I hope so. Now week been going well. Whether working in school, taking care of the kids, being a stay-at-home father, whatever you're doing, I hope you did it with love and you succeeded. So we don't come back today. I know say some of una go say, Matilda, you fashion this white paper. No, no worry. We go through and then we go come out. Okay, this time I no go bore now with boku reading. I know for say the reading we don't begin to choke una small some of una. Write to me and say, Matilda, dear, and I beg with a beg, and I beg with a beg, Matilda with a beg, do ya? I've listened. So today we'll do very little reading, but we'll ask some very pertinent questions then. So today we did inside Bankole in court. And we are going to be looking at the white paper report. I know for say most of you already don't know say the actual report of INSEF Denado. Unfortunately, I don't have time to comb through it. Doesn't mean that I will not comb through it eventually. And we will talk about here and there. But for right now, make we just focus on the white paper, and any of my panelists, then we get in-depth knowledge about the actual report itself. They can jump in on sections as we discuss. But before we come, sit down inside proper this evening term, make agi una term for make me too alejo them, tell una ado. Madam Kadi Johnson, tell family ado.
Good day and a good evening. Good morning, good afternoon.
Yes, good evening, good morning, and good afternoon. Okay, and now we get the other Alejo, by the name of Mr. Mohammed Shilon. Mr. Mohammed Shilon, tell family.
Okay, good evening, everybody. We listen or to potential listeners. Good morning. Good afternoon, depending on what part of the world on the day. So I'm coming to you from North Carolina, USA.
Indeed. Very well. Wanna give me a quick second. Let me take care of something before you can interrupt and disturb with business. So I can make sure say all the gladiators them, all the devices they don't lock. Anyways. Now we can go back with business proper. So even before we talk about Bankole in court, today Bankole Thompson in court. I just want to take 1 minute and tell me how una feel when una read the entire white paper. What in the white paper say from Bankole. I want to make una just take 2 minutes and tell family them before we begin go inside a little bit deeper. So I will go to Mr. Mohammed Shilon. Mr. Mohammed Shilon, what do you think when you read the white paper report, excluding or including the report of itself?
Well, the white paper, to me, I take with a grain of salt because, precisely reflect what supposedly the report say. The white paper is summary or a contraction or a squeezing of the report because the report very extensive. So the problem, and then the white paper also seem for deliberately left out certain conclusions, certain recommendations, certain findings by from the report. So overall, I don't think the white paper is bad, but reflect or show everything with the report say. So because for summarize or for compress an extensive reporting such as the actual Commission of Inquiry report to a smaller version, it will always create dissatisfaction and sometimes misunderstanding. So, but overall, if I have to express my own feeling, Well, it's better than nothing because there was a time the white paper was all we had. And now the reports are there, so man can go back and look at the report. If the white paper now explain things the way you understand what you need to say, you can go back to the report. So the white paper is good for whatever it's worth.
Okay, I'll go to Madam Cole. If you don't mind, I can just abbreviate your name there.
Jesse, or you can say Jesse.
Yeah, so
Because not double barrel name, not compound name.
I know. what in a be your take in general of Bankole report, the report where them produce
The white paper, you say?
Yes.
The white paper. Yeah, the white paper actually, like where Mr. Shilton say, it's kind of not so give me details at all. You see, it's like we are looking at the recommendations made. You see, and some of these recommendations, the things that we then take into consideration when these recommendations were concluded, you see, we don't get that. You see, we don't get that at all. I would have thought that the government would have published the report on the government website. You see, then it would be there for everybody to have a look at it. You see, because it's one big document that is very, very difficult to read in the sense that it takes so much time. And considering the limited time where we get for come at this program, coupled with other things that people they do, we're busy, it's not easy for go into it at all. But let's say if they had published it in the website, people can go and look, get for begin say like make a can, print or anything and all that. But I may say because some of the things from me on what I may realize is there's certain things it's helpful more with the report than without the report. Is it because we're not able to deal with them the way it should be dealt with without all the other information where we need for know. We make the judge come to certain conclusions and all that. You see, but we can only do our best for see what we can do. Yes, but it's there anyway. You see, it's there, so we can just look at it and then see what we can do.
Okay. So normally the white paper is supposed to be a contraction. It's supposed to be a summary, a synthesis, like a synthesizing, a shrinking of a condensed document. But in the summary, you want to write the summary in such a way that when somebody look at the actual document and then look at the white paper, which is in this case a summary, you left with little or no room or no doubt. Like the summary for be done in such a way that it capture the key findings them within the report in a manner that when you finally get the time for sit down look at the report, you really not go see differences because the key informations them we captured in the report are obviously captured within the summary. But what they get from Una right now, the facts say, the summary, they not do a very good job in the summary. And that's when you read the report, there are too many missing parts where no feature inside the summary. So if you only go by the summary, then you might be misled in your interpretation. All right, you might be misled in your interpretation. But if you combine both documents together, then you have a better picture, a fuller picture of everything. So, Madam Kadi, do you think this was maybe a deliberate attempt to sort of sway or persuade the public in a particular way? Now that's make them then release the white paper first and hold on to the actual report, so that people them go on form a certain perception in their mind before even, and once that perception there is formed, then the release of the report means nothing, right? So what do you think about that? I mean, and I'm not suggesting that is the case, but when you look at it, evidence stack or you know or whatever we are seeing, there appears to be some kind of a gimmick that happened there, some kind of a strategy that was implemented. I don't know what you think about that.
Well, actually, I don't think so. In terms of the government releasing a white paper, is it they release her as a result of what is required? Is it because Commission of Inquiry, it says the Commission of Inquiry recommendation will come out when the judges are not done, then the government gets 6 months to release a white paper. So they have to release a white paper anyway, you see, and I believe why they say 6 months, because it would take the government time to read all those bundles, the documents and all that. That's why they give this. So I don't think, yes, it was a deliberate act by the government. It's just something that is required for them to, they had to do it, you understand? Whether, so whether the way it is written is done deliberately is another question, because I wouldn't want to say it was written deliberately to get people to form a perception about others. I don't want to go that route, you see, because I don't have any basis to support that. So all I can say is, like the last time I said, the way the report was written is like there were some mistakes or something, so that led me to think that yes, what was written was not actually, I mean the white paper, yes, that what was written in the white paper may not have been exactly what is in the report and all that. But apart from that, I don't want to think that they wrote it in a way to create a perception, you understand, for people to perceive it in one way to the disadvantage of the other side, and then to the advantage of the government. I don't want to.
Okay. So, Mr. Shillon, let me throw this at you. So, yes, it is indeed a requirement by the government that after 6 months, then get for publish, whatever. Why didn't they publish it in tandem? Why publish the white paper? Because they made the claim that, the report was published alongside the white paper. But we all know, we've done the searches, we've done the research, we've gone to the, Sierra Leone, Justice, whatever site, because that's where the papers are. We've combed the website. We could find the white paper, but we could not find the report. So again, I am saying here, why release? Yes, indeed, according to the law, they are subject to release, whatever. Why release a partial document that you summarize, and why not release the actual document that speaks to that is in quote unquote verbatim of the justice or of the Chief Justice that adjudicated on the matter?
Well, now it seems like the question is not the way you frame them, because since the report has been released, so the question now becomes why, in my view now, because you might get a different way for look at it.
Yeah, absolutely.
For any view is why not release the white paper at the same time with with the report? Why release the white paper?
No, that's exactly my question. Why release the white paper
Before.
and then release the report? Why not release them in tandem? Why not release them together?
Together.
That was my question, yeah.
Okay. So, that, of course, that's the question because we get for, now they go, no more get the answer for that because we don't know why. But from just speculative or if we try for guess, I think we'll get for look at the overall nature of a commission of inquiry. And then, of course, the consequence of a commission of inquiry for put a report together. Normally, a commission of inquiry is an inquisition for looking into certain things. Unlike a court, will get power for convict, for find people in guilty, and then punish the. A commission of inquiry only looks into matters, then make recommendations. And me own understanding, and it is because I'm just trying to, because they may have had different reasons why they file certain things and the way they do them. But my own suspicion is the general overview of a commission of inquiry that for bring out certain facts, then put out here and begin for soften the minds of the people or for condition the minds of the public, for let people adjust or readjust. The purpose of the white paper is an extension of the commission of inquiry in the sense that now you want the public to accept the report as true. And therefore, by the time people are beginning to be charged with crimes, majority of we would all get we mind already conclude say, well, yeah, this person is guilty. Look at all the oaths, look at all the money, look at all the this. That's not the essence down there. The problem with the white paper, as it is, the current white paper, is now recommendations are made. Don't forget about whether they intended to reflect or summarize or compress the report. Let's just look at it. The effect of the white paper on certain people. Now, if the government because the government go a step further by making recommendations,
right,
agreeing with some recommendations that were made in the report. For example, in one of the reports, they say certain people should not participate in government for so many years. And the white paper specifically say, well, we don't recommend that. We don't accept that recommendation there. And then give a reason. The reason is the president say, in one lay appear for being a witch hunt. I can't question his motive. But to me, you open Pandora box. Once you give a reason for rejecting a recommendation, you also now therefore explain why you reject other recommendations. You don't give reason.
Right.
You see the problem, and to me, understanding, not all the rejected recommendations were backed up by reasoning as to why they were not being accepted. Why certain people who supposedly were asked to refund certain things, their names were not even mentioned in the white paper. It looks to me to lend credence or credibility to the report. They should have just followed that rule there. When the president say, well, I know they accept keeping people out of politics, because normally if you say I was being personal, which is a good reason, then I think say every other variation from the report should be backed by the purpose or the reason why that recommendation is not being followed. But I don't think that's what happened in this white paper. Some names, certain recommendations were left out without giving any reason. So in that, I have a little problem with it. And I don't think it does them any good because it casts them in a bad light.
Cast them in a bad light.
Mr. Matilda,
yeah.
Can I just add to that, please?
Yes, go on.
Because, okay, the president sounds as if he doesn't want to be personal, you see. But the reality is, some of them, because some of them, they end up being asked not to take up employment. In the end, it depends on the judges that will sit on this matter. You understand, that will preside over this matter. I'll tell you why I think so. You see, because you see, to me, it's as if that they feel bad name. Period. You understand it? That bad name. Because most of them people there, yes, so some of them, they have intention to appeal. You get me? Some of them are going to appeal. Some may not appeal. For those who seriously believe that the things, the recommendation made against them, you see, is not correct, they're likely to appeal. And this is where the catch is. When they appeal, during the appeal process, what guarantee do they have that the judges will not decide otherwise? You see, that's the thing. And then, if the judges can say, fine, it was fine, we're happy with this, you understand it? And the judges can make their own decision and all that. What if the court decides to say, because you have some, I think some of the legislation that says, I think people, you can either pay, you can either be fined for some offenses for like 3 months, or you 50 leons or some amount of money, and then you do the time for 3 years. You see? So, and if people find themselves in a situation where they have to do the time for 3 years, and most of this thing is centered around dishonesty, and the legislation, dishonesty and fraud are the main things that will prevent a candidate or an aspirant from contesting for the presidency. And majority, quite a number of these people who are involved are setting their eyes on contesting for the presidency.
Mm-hmm.
For example, if by any chance they happen to go in for even 3 months or even less, or they even find them guilty in court for that, for dishonesty and all those things, then they are banned, they're out. So in effect is, you say, I don't want to give them bad name. You don't give them bad name, but you know, say some of them go fall by their weight anyway. Then go fall by their weight. If they go challenge and all that. You see, I don't have any guarantee, just like I said, nobody has any guarantee of what the court is going to say. The court can do anything. That's shared evidence, you don't need that they get the power, and nobody really dictate to them. They can do anything. And then go find them guilty. And that's something like dishonesty. Now fraud, all that kinds of things. You see, so they're not going to contest again. So when you look at the thing, mother, the president not get bad name again. He said, me not to me tell them, say they're not in Mapu. Now then fall by their own weight. You see, that is what I said that from day one when I came on this program, you understand? I said, what guarantee do they have? You understand it? Some of them might find themselves in that situation. You get me? Which is one of the reasons why I was saying that if you know you've taken some money, perhaps go and negotiate and see how you can pay. There's no court records that has convicted you for dishonesty and all that. You see what I mean? You see? But they could end up finding themselves in that situation, even though the government not expel them, the government not tell them, say not bad there, because in one of the reports, in fact, I just happened to see, we are not discussing Sylvia Blyden, but I was so interested in Sylvia Blyden. You see, because the way they were saying, the rumors that were coming out about Sylvia Blyden over the years, to me, I'm not being believed, say, Sylvia Blyden would do anything way bad. I don't know, for some reason, I know say Sylvia Blyden get out. Yeah, that's and all that, but I don't think to say me not seeing like would have good thief. You get me? or take that kind of money, then they are not big believe so. So I was very surprised when I actually specifically go read on Sylvia Blyden, even another later. When the government, they actually asked the judge for ban Sylvia Blyden from taking opposition. The judge said self right and the judge Nadamika said good for law see this report because I read it. The judge said, ain't not go do that one day. He said because that would be very, very unfair. And ain't not go administer justice at all. If in because no case not there for make a ban Sylvia Blyden from contesting and from taking up public office by the country. You understand? So I began to ask, why did they go to such length to even go and ask the judge to ban Sylvia Blyden? Why? You get me? You see? Why?
Okay. So they go forward. So they can me fumble them. Here is where we are. We're at this junction right now. So tonight we're looking at Sierra Leone government white paper on the report on the Honorable Dr. Justice Bankole Thompson Commission of Inquiry into the assets and other related matters in respect to persons who were president, vice president, ministers, ministers of state, and deputy ministers, and heads and chairman and board of parastatals, departments, and agencies within the period from November 2007 to April 2018. Now, if we begin with the report, they say in the civil service, you get categories. What means say some position, then they will be past some other position. There are positions and there are positions. Now, when you look at this report, you can find out, say, this particular report, the way the writer, the way it was written, it was staged in the fact that, say, the way they position the names them, and as you look at the names them, the position of them people and they, okay, it was so. Listen, I give for this part, whoever did that, I give the person kudos, because this is oh my God, I give the person kudos because this is what you call strategic communication and positioning. This is exactly what they did. They crafted, and in this particular document, mastered the art, or appeared to have mastered the art of strategic communication and positioning. So when you look at the moment you open, when you begin it, boom, the big allegion I name can force by the name of the president. Okay? Following which, when you don't read, you don't go inside, then boom, Dr. Kelfara Lamara. So basically, I'm just going to go in and give the title. So it goes, Dr. Ernest Bai Koroma, former president of the Republic of Sierra Leone. Then talk bottom, and we go back and look into some of the things that we then say. And then immediately it followed, the immediate, Dr. Kelfara Lamara, former Minister of Finance and Economic Development. Then he go to Uda. You know, say finance, international development, or international relations, the Minister of International Relations, the Minister of Health, the Minister of Lands, the Minister of Mineral Resources, okay? Finance, then positions, then they are like, after the president, they are like this, okay? So immediately you see that Uda then targets number 3 in the white paper, Dr. Samura M.W. Kamara, former Minister of Finance and Economic Development, former Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation. Next, boom, Mr. Momodu Lamin Kagbo, former Minister again, Finance and Economic Development. Then you go down, Uda again you meet Mr. Momo Vandi, former minister, finance, economic development. Boom, and then you go. Una they watch the sequence. So, Mr. Sulaiman Kaba Kuroma, former board chairman, National Revenue. Now you wait here, say just know our sequence, National Revenue Authority, and later National Commission for Privatization. Boom, Aja Aissata Kale Kamara, former Commissioner General, National Revenue Authority. Boom, Dr. Joseph Samasise, former Minister of Agriculture, Forestry, and Food and Security. Boom, Professor Monty Patrick Jones, former Minister of Agriculture, Forestry, and Food and Security. Government, okay. And then they go Mr. Lavali Chandi Thomas, former Deputy Minister of Agriculture, Forestry, and whatnot. And then they go Alhaji Ibrahim Ben Kagbo, former Minister of Information and Communication. Mr. Mohamed Bangura, former Minister of Information and Communication. Mr. Sheka Tarawali, former Minister of Information and Communication. Mr. Theophilus Nicol, former Deputy Minister of Information and Communication. Mr. Cornelius Devoe, former Minister of Information and Communication. Mr. Momo Conte, former Board Chairman, National Telecommunication. And Mr. Senesi Kalon, former Director General, National Telecommunication, NATCOM. Mr. Idris Yela, former Board Chairman, Sierra Leone Cable Limited, SALCAB. Mr. Mohamed Sharif, former Managing Director, Sierra Leone Cable International, Alpha Cisse, former Managing Director, and the list goes on and on and on and on with the names. But one thing you will be assured of is that when you say the big fish, or those who are supposed or are alleged or appears to be the big fish, now so they then puts them, till, you know, the ladder, they become small. So, in this vein, even before I begin to look at some of the assets and some of the numbers that they crack, could this be the way they position the names? Could this be the reason why the Anti-Corruption Commission and Bankole Fala was in such a haste to run to BBC and to say, we have invited the former president for I don't know if it was for discussion or for questioning. And following that, hastily made their way to McKinney, and following which, we all know what happened. Was this a haste to show power? Was this a haste to exert power? Looking at the report, what do you think, Madam Kadi?
Well, when we look at this report, actually, I beg to differ, yes, in some ways. My understanding is Francis Bankole Fala, the interview where Ibi Wango interviewed the former president, not get anything to do with the COI report. That's my understanding. You not get anything to do with the COI report. According to the Francis Bankole Fala, they began to investigate matters relating to the former president. You see, I'm not sure whether the president was aware of that or not. Maybe the president was aware, or maybe now the president not aware because he's saying. Is it
okay,
so?
I don't want to cut you. In answering this question, make a whole day. If indeed, as we know, they've been investigating affairs of the president, the white paper comes na do, the assets, matters relating specifically to assets, the first person in name we call now the president. And few hours following that, or few days following that, you say you to go interrogate the president. Why not do it in the quiet? Something that you've done in the past. This is not the first time he's interviewed the president. This is not the first time he's held meeting with the former president. And he's done so quote unquote, in the down low, in the quiet, and then later talk about it? Why make a big noise about it when you clearly know what will be the consequence? Was this some form of a provocation? Indeed, like I said again, in ensuring and making sure you're trying to exert power?
Well, actually, I am not aware that Francis Ben Kafala has interviewed the former president in the past. Yes, I'm aware of that. That is only coming to light now. You see, but what I am aware of by listening to some audio is like the Inspector General don't go to the president in-house a few times. You understand? And in situations that way, McKinney not being calm also, he go there. You get me? But in terms of things, that's news to me. But all I know is when me from waiting at the AE, not that because I not ever get access to Francis Ben Kafala and not Sabi and safe other than na social media at the CM. But waiting I understand is it go interview the president. You see? And I think to say Francis Ben Kafala was right to go and interview the president. If he asked the president for interview, he was doing the job. You get me? You know, we have to call a spade a spade. We have to say things, call things by their names and say things properly, regardless of one's affiliations to anyone. You get me? You see, one's integrity matters a lot in life. You understand? So people get to say things how it should be said. Ben Kafala, you remember the last time I talked to you, not impressing me again because from the way we did with 1.5 million. You understand? Yes. But in this case, now in job they do, and if Ben Kafala want for interview anybody, including the former president, they get right to interview the former president. You see, because the reason being is, like we talk about perception here, you see, because people, we don't so take this whole commission of inquiry. But you know what? The Ben Kafala and the former government, they only got themselves to blame in the sense that the way they go about things, you get me? You see, because when this commission of inquiry comes, people then complain, say, including some of us, say, some names are not involved, then left some people them out. You see, so they not put some people. So people all my hearts be don't want to say, not fair, not just. As a result of that now, people not get chance for see the side of Kefala inside because everybody just say now, oh, this now which one? If Kefala they go this side, some people be the insinuate say they go for go arrest the former president, which was not the case. And Kefala going there had nothing to do with the COI because Kefala was not connected with the COI. The COI and the judges that in get what they do. But because they don't make people they don't believe, say, because of how they left some names them out, yeah, but in actual fact, Matilda, they not be left names them out because when I went through the report, some of the names, you see, even some of us they talk say not fair, not just. But yeah, to be honest, people in the name where they go Alpha Khan in name Daddy, Sandy in name Daddy. They investigate them all. They didn't the report. The main report is Daddy. You understand? You see, so people be just the thing to say they left people them out, but they not left them out. Then they inside the report. Maybe they go left people there like them out they waiting in man away open that mall. Then one and they will not in a work. But most of the people in the work, I see their name inside the report. You get me? So this is the Francis Ben Kafala was only doing his job with statutes give and powerful do. You get me? But because of these mistakes where they don't do, the whole population under the country not see that way. That all man just say, oh, this is the one who arrest the president. Because if they don't do things that the president and the after. But to be honest, I don't see it that way. You see, because maybe they condemn Francis Kefala. But when I don't go through the reports now and everything, and then when I see the way I don't go look the anti-corruption legislation as well, I don't read them, you see. So I get a clear picture now, see, Ben Kafala was doing a job. Ben Kafala was not even going to arrest the former president. No, he wasn't. He not been getting any need for go. You see?
Okay. Okay, so we clearly know that the reason we make Ben Kelfala go there not to forgo arrest the president. We also know say yes, Ben Kelfala been they doing in job under the statutes and limitation of the privileges or whatever of the Anti-Corruption Commission. Yes. We also know, say, the anti-corruption outside of the Commission of Inquiry, been they investigate, they do an investigation on the former president, yes. But always when they go interview or get audience with the former president, it was never announced. You know, they ever make them public. As a matter of fact, the last time that happened, it was only after the interview had been conducted, only after they meet. Now that 10 day, he make a public say, we met with the former president and blah, 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 blah. Because the first time when he attempted that day, there was an uproar, there was an outcry. At the end of the day, I can always say, some man go see you as a Judas, while another person see you as a Christ. Okay? This person then are in territory, it then are in hold, it then are in stronghold. And make we not be naive about the powers where tribalism and regionalism and loyalties get within with society. So immediately following the release of the white paper, if you intend for go interview the former president, whether relating to the COI or other investigations the way you've been conduct, why not do it in the manner in which you have established, where not they bring noise, where not they bring instability, where they give you the results and the outcome from both ends? Why make a show about it? Mr. Shillon, for me, that move was a disturbing move. That move was a callous move. That move was an irresponsible move because it's not. He's done it in the past. He has precedents to follow. Why didn't he follow established precedent that has worked for both parties and for both sides? Why create? Because honestly, for me, the uproar will happen at Makani. I lay it all in the hands of the ACC. Period. If there wasn't already an established pattern through which where they use for approach the president because of the experience where if we don't get in first attempt, then I would have been like, okay, but you already don't establish a pattern. Why not continue with that pattern?
Okay.
We get a lot on Park Naya. It is difficult for me for second guess Mr. Kelfala in reason. Why he announced ahead of time the interview with the former president. Tactically, I'm inclined to agree with you that maybe that was a wrong move in that it was not the most effective way to have done it by disclosing ahead of time that he want for go interview the president. But what I want there we caution we safe about is Ben Kelfala now part of the government.
Right.
Government cannot show weakness. Government cannot be timid. Government cannot be scared into subduing themselves or into submission. Government, for the good of the country, has to show some degree of power. The only difference is government has to exercise that power there reasonably and within the confines of the law. So Ben Kelfala being part of the government, I don't agree with this tactic. I'm 100% in agreement with you. But if he chose for doing the other way around, by announcing it for whatever reason, he may have his own tactical reason why he do that, which from my perspective, looking from the outside, I would not have done. I still don't will not use that for questioning motive. The other thing is, the way I see it, the former president has and had a duty at the time for minimize or quell any tension. Yes, it's true that tribalism exists, but we all owe that to the country, that tribalism is a wasted effort in the sense that no one tribe can run Sierra Leone. No one tribe can conduct a civil war and be successful. I mean, the people in Kinyuza, there are guys who believe in that, I call it nonsense, but it's counterproductive. It does no good. I mean, I challenge anyone who could tell me, say, tribalism, they show me some positive aspect of tribalism. What good has tribalism ever done to us since independence? What positive result have we seen by being tribalistic? I think when we pull, we serve together as one people and make we ethnicity or with tribal connection secondary, it's when the country moves forward. But yeah, there are people who will do that for their own selfish ends, forgive this aura of, oh, is this tribe versus that tribe, is that tribe. All tribes are important. Everybody, they make contribution. So now, going back to Mr. Kelfala, if we put Mr. Kelfala, you see, because we shouldn't expect perfection from him. First of all, he's one of the very few government officials who, as we're talking today, if you invite him to come and explain some of these things, there's a good chance he will accept the invitation and accept him and come on the show and express himself. You may not agree with him, but the fact that he has the willingness to explain things, to me, I give him high marks for that. Because the other government officials are timid. For whatever reason, they will not come on shows. Or if they do, they're going to go only to friendly shows. Because recently, with all these things, I've seen Ben Kalfara being interviewed by other networks back home and everywhere, getting a reason. And he seemed to, I don't always agree with him, but he seemed to be very clear on why he took certain positions, you know. But the former president, you know, it's dangerous to begin to start demonstrating a show of force for saying, I am the former president. So you can't do anything with me when I get for compromise with me. It puts the current president and the current government in an awkward position, in my view. Because
so make a holiday, Mr. Shilon. You say he is showing, he's been quote unquote, you know, a bit of a show off here and say I'm untouchable and whatnot.
Yeah.
But to his defense though, you've never heard him come out to make a statement, or other than the fact that he tweeting or saying that I welcome the interview by the ACC, I will be cooperative, I have nothing to hide, they can ask me whatever question they wish to ask me. Outside of that, he has been very silent. He has stayed, like what I can say, Sidona Yukona, he has stayed in his little corner. For me, I don't know that he's done anything that shows obstruction of justice. From what I have observed so far, he's never, come out and make bold statements and say, okay, make we see, we go meet in a Fitiai corner type statement. His supporters may have, and that is their right. But him as an individual, he hasn't done so. So don't you think in his quietness, quote unquote, or silence, is because he doesn't want to trample on the rights and powers of the current president and want to really show respect to the office?
Well, you know, there are times silence can speak volume. It's not always when you're silent you are not by implication implying or directing something. I will give you one example. Let's say you get a dog where you know, say, if you left and loose, it will jump on somebody. Then somebody to go by, it begin chase the person, then you sit silent. Of course, not you send the dog for go chase the person, but by being silent, you know the dog in propensity that most likely it will hurt or bite somebody. Mm-hmm. Why not say something, call the dog back or restrain the dog? Nobody will ever accuse you, say, oh, you see this person, I send the dog pound. Now, we get a live situation at the United States. The previous, not the debate between the two presidential candidates yesterday, but before, the previous one, where they accused the current president of having a certain group of people where they encourage, they not say they direct them, but they say they encourage by not condemning them. Mm-hmm. And even when he say, okay, what are they talking? Because this group, they name the Proud Boys. They say, well, Proud Boys are going to action for stand down. Then right. Still not go far enough. He should have gone far enough for say, owner stay out of it and not encourage violence. Mm-hmm. You know, just like Mr. Biden, when the opposing candidate, where people then begin to talk about defunding the police, he came forward and said, I don't support defunding the police, but I'm in favor of restructuring the police. I'm giving all the examples here. President Nkrumah has a duty to talk to and support them. He knows that he knows a lot of them are ready to put their lives on the line for him. He knows a lot of them could be violent. He knows that. But the same thing with the analogy with the dog, he also knows if he tells them to stand down, they will. So I'm not convinced that just by saying nothing and saying this process, I mean, he's doing a fantastic public relation thing by saying all them positive things here. You know, I welcome now, but how welcome are you going to be within me confines? If I get me wild dog and everything, I'm not going to restrain it, and I say, well, just kind of more, I know I'm not going to intention for hurt you. Would you trust me? Because if you listen to the conversation between the IG and the former president, IG said the ACC was concerned about security. Right. You see? So what does that mean? That people would take matters into their hands because they may be wrongly informed. So I'm saying all this in the context of this is a balancing act. So I think Ben Kelfala, with all in force, and if you look at the history of all the ACC commissioners we've had, I think he's been the most effective based upon mere assessment, you know, and I think he's doing the best he can, but there's a lot to criticize him about, but there's a lot to give him credit about. That's my position.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you that there is a lot to criticize him about, but in the same token, there's a lot to also give him kudos for. I mean, I will be remiss if I sit here as a young lady and for everything that I purport and I stand for to say that is been an absolute failure. No, there's no way or how that I can say that, yes, there is a lot of things that is done right, but there's a lot of things that is done wrong. And just like you're saying, in approaching this issue, as a double-edged sword, you know, this is not a very, not a slippery slope and not a double-edged sword. Because on one hand, President Nkrumah kept quiet, even though publicly, yes, he make a known say he welcomed the invitation and whatnot. But also knowing the socio-cultural context, it would have been good for him maybe to go one step further, to speak to the people of McKinney and say, listen, I understand that maybe you might be apprehensive of why they are coming and whatnot, and you might think I need some form of protection, but it's all good. Everything is good. These are standard procedures. Just allow the law to take its course and the people of the law to do their work. at the same token, again, I come back to I come back to Ben Kelfala that in saying that in doing this, he goofed. He goofed in the process, and therefore is partly responsible for also the outcome of what happened in McKinney. And the same token, I also blame the police. When you show up at a place where people already feel that they are the victims, and you are the protagonist, and you show up with truckloads of army men and soldier men and people in ammunition, you are not setting a tone for peace. You are not setting a tone for tranquility. You are not setting a tone for trust. You are not setting a tone for trust. I'm not saying that, the ACC should not be guarded, because anything can happen. Anything can happen. But also the way you do it, also the way you go about it, go make the other side, in this case, say, you know what? They are coming with clean hands and clean hearts, right? And yes, I agree with you that, we are dealing with a bit of a slippery slope here. The former president didn't go maybe far enough in addressing.
Can I come in there when you finish, Matilda?
Yeah, just give me a second. In addressing his constituents, his people. But sometimes with these things, it's hard to tell in the right manner to deal with it. And that is why we are here to provide solutions and to look in-depthly into them and see what we can maybe advise moving forward in dealing with these issues and dealing with these incidences, so that we do not see the outcome of the Bangbanis or whatever they call them, the Matomas or whatever they call them, which honestly I think are pure foolishness. These people had no business in what was going on. I don't know what they do or what they engage in, but that alone is a threat to stability, is a threat to peace. Okay. Madam Kadi, even as you respond, even as you give your comments, we see here when they do the tabulation of the former president in total income, if it don't be something about 4,477,636,000 and 962, right? But then say just in us alone, as they are giving an example, and say just in us alone, na Femiton na dry, na a tune of 40 billion, is it 556 million plus change. So that's a jarring number just for one us. That is a jarring number just for one us. And also, when you listen to Ben Kelfala in interview, he also go ahead for make an allegation for allegedly saying that the former president was involved in money laundering, or that they have leads to suggest that the former president was involved in money laundering. So when you look at this number and you look at all of the allegations that are coming out, what comes to mind?
Right. Wait a minute. To me, what the drive for say here is this. First of all, the former president, if anything, I would only say with him, a patriot, they say. You understand? You get me? If anything, I am in a better position. Say, I can protect, if I'm able to protect the former president, I can protect him. You know what I mean? But the country comes first. You get me?
Oh, yeah.
The country. Get me? Eh? Yeah. And they go to with Mr. Shilo say, and you said what you say. Going to McKinney with a place with a truck of vehicles not to think way, maybe glad about, particularly where we don't get that incidents, na bombali where they kill people then. I made an audio way go out because I felt very strongly about it. You understand? And all. I made an audio way go out on that. So whether since they don't the place don't already tense, it's time for camp. Going there with the place is another matter. But then again, there was an audio going around before Kelfala left, before Kelfala in Mende left. They put their life at risk in the sense that the vehicle they were coming with, it was all over social, the numbers where they come with, the vehicle, all the vehicle numbers, then the people, the commission of the COI people, the way what they mean, and the anti-corruption people, wherever they go, then publicize all the phone numbers and the vehicle numbers then. You see, so then they too, they put their lives at risk. You get me? Let's just be honest here. They put their life at risk. Which we normally do so we don't want other person them. You see? So that video went out because they're not left yet. So there's a possibility that maybe sometimes they change the vehicles and said, you understand? Nobody knows why the police then go there. But before then telling them, if they're not left with it, they're not tell and say that this vehicle, then the number, they all then put them everywhere. Don't you think maybe sometimes that may have even make themselves get police now for go there for see maybe this and they try for create a scene or problem. I don't know. I'm only saying, you see, I'm just playing devil's advocate. Understand it? So we have to look at it that way again. But in terms of you mentioned say all the Bangbanis. Well, let me tell you, Bangbani no did it. Because I know about the Bangbani. If Bangbani been there and nobody know the day do. When Bangbani come out, nobody know the day do. Because unless you are a member of Bangbani society, you don't see Bangbani. You know they go there. He like you na man said. So there was no Bangbani there. You understand? Maybe other society they been there, but Bangbani na the Limbayom, them not be there. Bangbani not there. If you did the whole market they hide. So I'm not about that.
For me, actually,
make a done because otherwise I will.
Okay, go on.
Make a done. You understand? The side way, you understand? As I say, they don't make we believe say because the way they go about this corruption first, now make all the people that are not probably all my at one. Everybody say now because if they go say they go arrest and the president, now make people then go there. But then again, you see, the president as a law-abiding person, you get me? A president, everybody knows the way President Nkrumah when he talk one, Bombali they listen. Then they know to hide. You know, any other scientist will know that. But President Nkrumah, because I listened to the audio where he and Inspector General gets. Ascaf was listened to it several times, you understand? The president wants peace. Somebody who wants peace. If we come out and tell them people then say, okay, una go. People they know they can't map now you drive when you road and everything. You must tell them say, una excuse me. But the president, what the president said in that conversation, he said the people then say, let Kelfala then just can no more, let them can and pass the people then. These people then like already they at least and don't put all their number then say that they can and they can and they can. So they say go down free. You get me? So they expect say you the president and you get control over them people then they. You know why? Them people that they could have walked through the people then they then sometimes go outside and take all the documents and at their hand. Then I don't get no evidence again for sure. I'm only saying this in terms of law. You understand it? But that's what they say. And they took in terms of law, not in terms of they support anything. No. If anything, I'm likely for support the president anyway. You see, both the former president. But I just look at in terms of the law. You get me? Then like in man and life they at risk already. So they're not gonna go like the president said the IG say, well, you know, say where you been Kanaya, so you been Kanaya. But what they not tell we the circumstances where the IG been go there, not to the same circumstances. You understand? Yeah. Not to the same circumstances. It go there for another thing where not related to people they say they go annex and school. Man. You see, now we ain't go there, what they go say then go for go arrest them. So now two different circumstances. So they cannot say because the IGB don't go there 1 10, 2 10, you know, make you do the old thing. Okay, if you do himself, it work. You understand? But mind you, these are people then number all over social media say they don't can another number there, they carry it, everything. So for example, he duty ban for protect in manner where they can work for them. President should have come out instead of president say the former president say, well, okay, when I just can no more, when I pass the number, when I can nothing no go do now. You're there in legal team say they go take them. That is not on. President Koma, the former president, in my own opinion, you understand, I could be wrong, but the former president, in lawyers then, you get me, I hope so when they listen to this, they're not going to take offense, the lawyers then, do you and not come for discredit sooner or anything. But I wonder now whether the former president was being advised properly. You get me? You see? Because if they advise them properly, therefore we just say, well, okay, tell them we are letting go first, if they don't, then go come back. But for let them people then answer the CO people then come out, then go risk their life. Yeah, they don't know. Impossible say they don't make for do nothing. But that was a big risk. You get me? You see, so we therefore look at it that way. You understand? Me now one person will make an audio out. We send them to the president, the former president. We make an audio out. I send and select people then forward them to them. Because I know people that will go able forward them to a player. I send them to them. I say make you not listen. He go listen to his advisors then. But in daughter, I get a daughter when a lawyer. I say that in daughter be the last person with the advice I take on, because in daughter in your advice go be a genuine advice where in no say again papa in interest. Whereas lawyers, we don't know whether lawyers are advising him to protect their own self. Because some of them lawyers they are so. Because if they look into, because when they read into this Justice Thompson in reports now, you get me? You can tell that, you understand, these lawyers, when they advise the president, are they really advising the president in the president's interest or to save their own skin? You see, because some parts then are the Anti-Corruption Act, where those two lawyers, where they represent them, they were they were ACC boss. You understand? They are the ACC boss. I'm not saying that there's no conflict here. There are some people they say conflict of interest. No, they say because they are no longer there. If they're in there, now we'll say conflict of interest. But they're not there now. They're not there. You see, so the Garrett will represent them. But when they were there, you see, you get acts, legislation, provisions then they did. We expect them for do things fairly. We expect them for know certain things. You understand? Where they not do them, you understand? Where then they in breach of some of their provisions they did, based on what they are read. You understand? So it makes me wonder if they can now then say they issue something against their lawyers then they. And if they issue something against the lawyers then they, you understand? I'm not thinking to say Francis Bankole go wrong. You get me? Yes, if they make a case against their lawyers, they do not because of an escomao, but in case of how they perform their duties, you get me? They can issue and then they can say, well, let them go, all man go defend. And the minute they go for go do that, they're not go able to represent President Koma again, because then there will be conflict of interest. You see? So anything can happen, you understand? So with a look and say, a lot of things say, because when they go through the report, you they see side them where people they not declare their assets. The commission, the ACC boss, they not do nothing. And the legislation say, they get duty for receive, examine, you understand? And keep the thing, and then get duty for investigate, for verify any asset where they declare. Therefore, make inquiries and verify the truth of that asset. They're not what they said because they look some of the reports. Some people they know at least I think the former president in the way they go. Some people then it takes them some years. They're not declare their assets.
Okay. And this so in the same.
So what I'm saying here is I'm getting worried now whether now that make I tell the presidency if your daughter not lawyer, okay, your daughter go get people that will senior for an law. Something that when said you go listen to the advice in the former president in law in the game, but instead go think in papa in your best interest. You understand? For say, daddy, this not so. You understand? Because we don't know now. First of all, I tell the president say some people will go advise you, maybe because of money making time now. They're all making money out of you. You understand? Then we don't know whether they are advising you because of they themselves are trying to say, well, if we're able to pull them, we set up not go there. You understand? Like every possibility they can get incriminated, implicated. You understand? And then the commission of the SEC boss, they can change things around. You understand it? So we don't know. You understand? So I made that audio out. So I don't. The reason why I'm mentioning it is because I don't want to appear as an hypocrite. You understand it? I made it, and that was a genuine advice. I said, listen to you, Peking, and all intended. You see, some of them said, lawyers themselves for being said the president say, okay, come on, I do talk to the people there, let the boss then come. You understand it? But it's as if they themselves they encourage things to happen. The former president, yes, a peaceful person. All man not say, they talk. If a peaceful person, and if you get lawyers, then some things that they will do, we're not going to blame him. You see, he gets blamed. But you get lawyers, then why in lawyers, they're not telling and say, come out, go talk to the people they are. Let them come out first, let them can do this thing. Why? You get me? Why? You get me? You see, so they're not helping this man go by waiting in lawyer they tell him. So if lawyer they tell him anything, it's banned for listening to in lawyer then because if you to say then get in interest at heart, you understand?
Okay.
But
but in the same token, we also know that they don't establish some codes and some principle for which way then they interview or way then they interrogate or way then they approach former statesmen within Sierra Leone. Whether that was followed, I am not sure, because I don't know the protocol, okay? I know say there is an established protocol where then they don't establish for how they go about interviewing or approaching or engaging former statesmen, whether be it on investigation, whatever, there is a protocol. I don't know if that protocol was followed to the letter. That aside,
the protocol side, Matilda, let me come in quickly.
Okay, we don't go far.
Side, let me come in quickly. I'm not going to be long. Let me come quickly, you understand it? Obviously, you see, a man who don't rule the country for 11 years and all that, no matter how he bats it, he get good things the way he do. You understand it? And according to, okay, maybe, yes, then go meet Sam in a very, not so in a very humiliating way and all that. You understand it? Yes. But that is the choice, if then decide for do so, where we feel to say that the best thing for do anyway. But the law, nobody not pass the law. The law not the law. You understand it? Although, but we all for me glad you let them go do them in a respectable way. You understand it? Without them not humiliate them or anything. But the law not the law. You understand? Even then, I don't know for America, but you're so safe. You understand it? If you're not the president, they want to interview you, then they invite you. You understand it? Even then go invite you. You get me? Then they wear clothes. They're not going to wear, sometimes they see the police and say, then go get up right. If they wear uniform, say they wear uniform. Then they wear fine clothes, suit and everything. Then go invite you so that people not going to know say that they can, but they can't meet them. They invite you. They question you and all that. You see? So so the thing is, you understand it? Well, as we say, the government of itself, the bio government, yes, a weak in the sense that they should say an Escoma, the former president, stronger than them. You understand it? Because they call the shots. You get me? And if they call the shots and if they get what he want, you understand it? So we're not going to blame him for that. If not Mr. Fadena institution and call the shot, I will call the shot. You get me? But the law not the law. You get me? There is no way we go allow anybody for go disrespect an Escoma. Personally, I wouldn't be part of it. You understand it? But the truth, you understand it? I will say the truth. You understand?
Okay.
And maybe some supporters go can attack me, but the presence of in your quiet moment and in picking and say family that you don't, then listen to what I say. You understand it? Then go no say I'm not being spiteful in any way. You understand it? Now in the best interest, I talk even though me not to in lawyer. You understand?
Okay. That's good. I think the point is well taken and the point is well made. I want to make we move on to some other parts of the report, and even as we look at some other parts of the report, I go yes, indeed, no one is above the law. Nobody is above the law. Everybody is subjected to the law. But we also know for say the and them no equal. And now that make them get policies them, now that make them get protocols them, in order to make things a little bit easier, in order to make things less contentious. Sometimes let's just follow these established protocols and make we left for the create rules and establish rules them where we know for say go bring about tensions or whatnot. That's all I am saying here. But to the fact that no one is above the law, absolutely, I agree with that. Now, even as we move on, the phone lines they don't open 2 minutes per call. The phone lines are open 2 minutes to each caller, please. The phone lines are open 2 minutes to each caller. Even now, as we go before, you notice now the report that a lot of people they not declare their assets them, and when they're not declared, and then when they will declare their assets them, when they exit, they not go back for go check. Waiting them in declare, waiting them don't make, and waiting them left with. Is it just? Now, this goes to even the people in power currently, okay? This goes to Una as well. And also to Francis Bankole. I hope so you take proper documentation of the assets that way people come inside with, of waiting and they make currently waiting at the emolument them, and waiting and go end up for left with, because we either open like mountain fat food. Some of them mansion, then they were with the CISO. Some of them mansion, then they were with the CISO. That is all I'm going to say, and I'm going to leave it at that. I hope you, as the anti corruption commissioner, I hope say you they do your work. I hope say you they cherry eye and you they watch like mountain fat food, like how we self they watch like mountain fat food. I go left that down there aside, because as of right now, they are still in governance. However, it not mean for say we for lapse on checks and balances. The lapses on checks and balances is what has brought us to this point, this junction that we are discussing a white paper, discussing reports into commission of inquiries. When these commissions of inquiry take place, which is by law one of the mandates of the president, incoming president, for take make an environmental test, document what not happen. By right, these reports should be coming out with we find no one guilty, we find no one wanting. Not to the point that a warrant and a setting up of a commissions of inquiry. Now, if we look and we look how you call them carefully, there is a pattern within this report, okay? There is a pattern within this report where some certain people them una go notice say they accept the recommendations. And precisely I go take a time for read through former the former presidents and the recommendations the way they accept. They accept these recommendations. In other parts, they then go tell you say they're not satisfied with the recommendation, and therefore then they ask the anti-corruption commissioner for investigate further. In other parts of the report, the courts they say, or the chief justice they say, it not get enough evidence, or them not been there for make a probe deeply, for make it come out with a concrete recommendations. And then in other parts, we see certain name them, where then they tell we say the people then live according to the standards. Some of them you might want to agree, but others are highly questionable. I know they also for call certain names, but we all know the Sandys and some of these people that are featured in this report. To sit here and tell me that your sole motive, according to your statement made on what you might call it, according to your statement made on September 24th, 2020, I have reiterated corruption is a threat to our moral timber as a nation of upstanding citizens, to our national development, and to our national security. Our only option is to confront corruption head on and fight it boldly and resolutely. It is a fight that we must fight. It is a fight that we must win if we must survive as a nation. Those are the direct word verbatim of the current president, President Bio. If we are serious if you are serious about these words, some of the people where the name future insider reports, where you they talk for say yes, then live according to their salary and according to their means, I find it very questionable. Very questionable, because even right now, we know say they're not they live according to their means. We know say they're not they live according to their salary then. It is obvious, it is clear. I mean, even Bleniai man self can able tell you that. So if you mean those words, make we begin for demonstrate them. Make we begin for put them in action, not just in words, but in action, even within your current regime, even as you rule. Mr. Shillon, I say I make the statement that, for me, Bangbani or whatever, society or whatever, I see that here, not there, when it comes to these matters. And for me, I stand by that statement. I am not spitting on culture. No. To know me is to know that I adore culture. If you see me, Naya, so me this creativity, if I dance for you, we gumbe, or drums them they play. If I dance men they dance for you, go feel to say na men they woman born me. If I go inside Timini and Limba dance, you go feel to say na they them born me. Those who know me can tell. As a matter of fact, they call me the great Sampa Matilda. That is what my friends refer, my friends from Sierra Leone. Because where the music they play, where you see a grab no more, they say, Sampa don't come. But to on a more serious note though, when these things are happening, I think say it's we need for educate with people them for no say there is a time for culture and there is a time for the law. This is a time for the law, and this is not a time for clash of culture and law. I don't know what your thoughts are, even before I move on.
Well, again, here's my take. With respect to the culture issue, we all know, I grew up upline. I grew up in Naminde line. I know every group or every tribe get their own particular societies. Some of them are supposedly secret societies. But these demonstrations are usually on certain social occasions. What amazes me here, what was the redeeming social value in bringing all the devils and the display where ACC one for can investigate? How does that because me understand say all the devil business, they whether na hunting, whether na poro, whether na this. Now when they get festivity, then with that, all these groups come out and participate. But this was a totally different situation. So in all honesty, I see that as a demonstration of intimidation. Mm-hmm. Without a doubt. I think it's dangerous for any group, any tribe, any secret society try for intimidate a government. Because you see, government gets unlimited power. They get very extensive power. A government is like a lion. Mm-hmm. You don't want to provoke it because if it react and overreact, it can cause serious damage. Sometimes, unexpected consequences. Yeah. So the position we made to take now is I'm trying to look at it strictly on the balance, in the sense that the government has a duty to do its job. Mm-hmm. And as part of that job, they now forgo interview someone where they exercise all the courtesy to, because don't forget, ACC is not going to call any John Doe and say, we can interview you. Then go and say, can I way office? So the former president is being given all the due respect by them going to run. So instead for give a mutual respect to the system, as a former president, if I realize, say, what good is a government if it cannot enforce its laws? You know, if it cannot protect the citizenry, what good is the government? So we owe a duty not for even try to make the government look weak, you know, and
Right.
the government has enormous power. Because don't forget, I don't care what kind of power former President Nkrumah demonstrates.
Mm-hmm.
He does not have as much power as the man who is in charge, who controls the army, who controls the power. I mean, that will be delusional for things say, oh, I day in McKinney here, I get as much power, I can resist, I can protect. No, you don't even want to get to that point, is all I'm saying. The civility with which matters are being done, the former president is being dealt with. I think they should maintain the direction there. But we shouldn't try to make it look like, and that's why I'm saying it's a little dangerous when the existing government is showing some degree of weakness. A government cannot demonstrate weakness, because a government with weakness, you encourage chaos.
Right.
You see, when you, because people think they can take matters into their hands, and when they take matters into their hands, everybody become victimized. Now the danger down there about government just not showing the strength way for sure. So I think it's the duty for the former president for whenever he sense that things are being so tense that it may lead to such, because we already get an instance with the McKinney thing concerning the generator. We see what happened. We see how many innocent lives were lost. Unnecessarily. So with that happening, when some government officials then say then they come up north, Bombali district day, I think the duty is on the one day where they in charge in the area for make sure say young people do not take upon themselves for challenge authority, which are distinguished from exercising a constitutional right. I mean, they get a right for demonstrate, but I don't know if they have a right to demonstrate against Mr. Bankole, who is an ACC investigator. So, because if they demonstrate, as long as they don't obstruct, it's safe and free passage, I think they will be doing okay. Even that will be some form of intimidation. So it's a difficult situation. Like I always say, running a government is not easy. You know, and I'm trying to say what I know any government, whether the Nkrumah government or whether the BO government to, waiting them for do and waiting them not for do. But I think, say, the BO government get for be firm in certain instances that where we are in charge. Because, you know, if, say, the ACC commissioner goes to McKinney, if some shooting take place or theft take place, not only that group of people and the innocent people will be caught in the crossfire and get hurt. So the responsibility lies with both sides. But I think, in all honesty, I think the former president is being disingenuous by saying, oh, I'm all in favor. Well, you need to condemn those guys who are out there making all the noise, who are, you know, in a moment, if you know, like I said, and I'd use the dog analogy not to any disrespect. But you know, say, if you get your dog, if you know hold on for and bring her back, you know what you could do. So President Nkrumah gets a clear understanding as to how far in people can go for defend them.
Okay.
And, you know, so that me in position now and so I mean the blame game should be over. I think we should just let Mr. Kelfala do his job.
Okay. Now let's turn to the phone lines. Make take a few calls them, and then we'll come back and go a little bit deeper into this in another angle. Caller, waiting on your name and also the call from.
Good evening, Matilda. How are you?
Not too bad, I say.
Thank God, Matilda. Matilda, I'm somehow disappointed in you, not because you get right to express your opinion, but when you express your opinion, I hope you respect the other people with another opportunity for response. Yes. You go ahead for name Dr. Sandy, even though you might not aware, Dr. Sandy is one of the people who walk into the COI, go defend whatever allegation alleged against them. It was open. He did. If the white paper comes out, or the Commission of Inquiry report comes out and say the man lives within a mean, and Dr. Sandy in question, do you know how many years it took in power before President Kuruma removed him? Dr. Sandy was only opportune to serve less than a year in that government. So if you can make a show, you get opportunity for informed people. All your premises have been built on Dr. Sandy, not guilty, found guilty. Is that the way we are showing loyalty to our Mama SALONE? If I have opportunity for talk on behalf of Sierra Leone, that for can't misinform, I hope you should have done your assignment before even begin to call people by their name. Please, viewers will get respect for them. This is not a public media. Most of us they listen. But before you call anybody in name, make sure you have done your assignment. Please. Thank you. God bless you. God bless you all.
Okay, thank you very much, caller. I will keep that call there. Sorry I missed a name, but that's a call I need to respond to directly. So I'll just put caller number 1. I hope you don't mind for me referring to you as caller number 1, because it can always also good for make we repeat what we say, and make people understand what we say before they accuse or presume. So I will go to the next call. Caller, waiting at his name and also you call from.
Hello?
Yes. Waiting at your name and also you call from.
This is Brenda, they call from London, Brenda Conte, they call from London. I just want to talk briefly, and I want to commend this wonderful platform here where they give you the opportunity for come and talk about within the Ghana country. But when it comes to corruption, I want to just make one important point. Yeah, Sierra Leone. Let me tell you, nearly everybody is corrupt in Sierra Leone, okay? Not only the leaders are corrupt, but even the people themselves. And me can put her under the category of unseriousness. I know one day, I born Sierra Leonean, you understand? You can call me Creole, you can call me Limba or whatever. Because me not believe in tribe. Me, I know they see tribe, I know they see color, and they see one people. Because I believe in God also. The country, the way that SALONE they don't do, we don't pray for almost 60 years. Some of we before we born safe, we don't pray for that country. Just go from one Alaki state to the other. I can use the word Alaki with confidence because the people there, successful are the people there on serious. When you come on here, for example, diaspora, you go help the people there. They no one take the help. They all don't born inside the corruption. They don't take it as the order of the day. You understand? So in this instance, everybody, the past government or the present government, so the people, everybody is just corrupt in Sierra Leone. Now, going forward, I think the only way we will therefore address and for hold the corruption, you understand, by waiting and column, meaning that not so for just the no more and they talk about this corruption, that party go can't talk for your own party, then they not so in at the team. Now we begin come together, whole organizations them, where we go all the present governments and who gets now. Because even with SFP, me I can tell the leaders, the ministers, so when I forget about the APC, now una then don't vote now. Una start for do the work. Because not so that we depend abroad. Who's our world is also abroad. We know they were conservatives take power because say all these labor. They don't get time for that. Now nonsense standing. We not go ever go before if we dip on that car. We just go round in circles and circles. They talk, we not they go before. Country like Salone, how many million people there with all the resources? Why we for sit up and poverty? We just don't they play blame games there and they take with party them pass the country. That nonsense they supposed to stop until we stop that nonsense. Salone and that's no more go dip and they go round and round in circles. One better we go die. We begin and go count and die. They begin and go count and die. Salone they go before because all man don't take now. All man na politician now. All man na party because it's so small. It's divided into two states. It's a shame and a disgrace. That's why I need for saying I mean I bring that concert. I didn't London. Now we watch what we did because let me tell you something. Corruption is everywhere. Even inside England, corruption there. But to the extent that you then a salon like that. Where corruption are the order of the day. When you go self in a salon, let's say you go with market self then they can't corrupt you. When you talk, they say, look you. So that's why I get for say, let's try to come together as one. You understand? Salon a small country. We don't forget about this tribe and all that kind of thing there. One on one. Now we able to sit down and live.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Kola. You can sense the frustration, but still the love. And you know the hope, now the caller and voice. I will go to the next caller. Caller, waiting on your name and who say the call from.
Me?
Yeah, so okay. The next caller, waiting on your name and who say the call from. Thank you very much, caller. You can sense the frustration, but still the love.
Okay, all right.
You need for dull you said because at the year you said you need for lower you said.
Go before. The thing is, we left for support people them. We don't they do the same thing over and over. Salone na cycle. The same politician then are in the cycle. I just come out Salone a month now. Could you believe when I go Salone? Could you believe, say, at this salon, I pay somebody for install solar for me na me place? Even when I pay him for install the solar, he charge me. We agree. Could you believe, instead of install the correct solar panels, the Wagiam, he end up thief one for the solar panels them, then he not install the correct panels them, how we for correct them, even when I don't pay them. So corruption at Salone, it begin from the top to the bottom. You the bill us right now. You call contractor, say, can't bill for me. It go begin thief you cement or you iron rod. So the corruption don't to pass mark na Salone. So that first caller where they defend Uda the lady they talk about. Now the same people them. 46,000 bag rest just disappear like that. 1.5 million case just die like that. So now the same thing, just to go on na Salone. I born na Freetown, I grew up na Freetown. I know they count myself as a Northerner or a Southerner or a Freetonian. I the same thing as Sierra Leonean. If we get that attitude day, we go before. We go before. Lord, we stop this Northerner, Southerner, APC, SLPP, because at the gain from this party or at the gain from this person waiting at this party, Salone no they go before by that. Now 60 years we they can 60 years so. We never get 24 hours light na Salone. Even right now as I talk to you, I just call Salone. Blackout the most part of Salone right now. So this na the thing we they talk about. If you corruption not in Salone, then they handle we money and things them fine. We not go the strain, all them strain here, blackout, no water, no good roads. I will stop now for now. Let give other people a chance for talk.
Thank you very much, caller. I will go on to the next caller. Caller, waiting on your name and also you the call from. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Hello. Waiting on your name and also you the call from. And if you can just speak up a little bit, we go be happy.
This is Zainab, I call from Canada.
Okay, hello Zainab, welcome.
Yeah. I want to give my own contribution.
Go ahead.
Concerning Mr. Shillong, the way he opposed the supporters then, where they go, the support, and it's sorry, I didn't adjust, and it's like remind people then where they come out, you know. I just want to give my own contribution towards that. And it's like my supporters and not be aggressive that it is. But then come out for sure say they not go arrest them person. And a way for sure the ACC then, because if they not for do that, maybe the ACC then for don't go do something bad more than that, or maybe then for don't go arrest, or maybe then for don't do other things then. But I believe say the way they come out, everybody's scared and the tension cool down. And it's like Roma himself they respect the rules. Because from where this thing starts, he keep quiet up till now. And he respect the ACC, then we then go, and he welcome them, and even the McKinney people, they all welcome them. Because Mr. Fubin, then I have been scared that if you say something will happen. But thank God nothing will happen. So an officer not anything bad, or maybe an advice for stop them. No. He know what he do. And if you stop there, if anything happen beyond that, how you go call them back? You not go able to call them again for let them can support them. So it better let keep quiet, let it watch the two sides, the government, the ACC there, and you support them. They just did the way it is so. I believe in the right thing that one day. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. And then there will be my last call for today. Just because we're running out of time. Sometimes this topic you think they won't take long and they won't, but when you sit inside the discussion, you know, the time really can fly. So I will go to I will give me panelists them one minute for make una address the caller them comments, because I don't think there was a lot of comments that warrants more than a 1 minute response. I will start with Madam Cady Johnson. Madam Cady Johnson Cole, waiting a young comment with regards to the callers. Your mic they off.
I think that we don't already discuss actually. We don't discuss like late. You get me? But we don't discuss all really. I suppose if the caller go through the video again, they will get the answers then you get me. You see what basically is. Time don't go, no waste time. You see. Caller, I'm not disrespect you, but if you go through the thing, it did it. Yes, so basically what you they say is correct. What you they say is we don't deal with them already. You understand it? Where we say we don't talk about them, but the president's peaceful, they will not talk about waiting the president for me do what enough for do or waiting the lawyer there. We don't deal with all that they do a big, not to disrespect. So yeah. If you go through no more the audio, you go get the answers there. We don't do all that.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Okay. Mr. Shillong, over to you.
Well, basically, I just hope people then go look at the situation from the standpoint of not being a sympathizer of any particular group or political party, but if you want to be a sympathizer of Sierra Leone.
That's right.
Feel sorry for the country. This is a country we've had our independence. Few more months, it will be 60 years. In all the 60 years, we've lost about 70 or 80% of the things that we once inherited and will be proud of. So, and when these things happen, they say, the McKinney lost this. When Sierra Leone Railway go out of business, not to McKinney, not to Bo, not Sierra Leone. When Sierra Leone Airways go out of business or become defunct, nobody goes and say Bombali District, Putloko District, not Sierra Leone law. When SAPM, the Sierra Leone Produce Marketing Board, become defunct, you see, people begin to look at things from a Sierra Leonean perspective and stop all this pettiness as to
that's right.
Come from, whose and tribe you belong to. Because like I said earlier, No, it's when we join forces. You know, I mean, I always see a nation, particularly like we will come Africa, we get different tribal groups as when you do cook food or when you do cook plasas. No one ingredient alone can make the soup sweet. Now, a variety of ingredients in that soup there, when you put pamine, you put pepper, you put yabas, you put... So if yabas say, well, no, me important pass you this way, everybody wants to stick to themselves. You know, we don't get soup. The tribes are wonderful. You know, that's part of our beauty. But we're not for use them as a basis for divide with self. You know, and this is all I'm saying. And with respect to politics, we should stop looking at parties in terms from a tribal perspective. We therefore begin looking at in terms of national interest. That's why the latest condemnation of, even though I don't know what the facts are, but I'm impressed with a young lawyer, a member of parliament, we take issue or they accuse parliament of corruption. It's correct.
They send me into my next part of even this asset business.
Yeah. I mean, to me, it's refreshing, it's encouraging, it's praiseworthy that somebody, whether in the midst of the group that they accuse, say, I mean, you can't forget the guy, he has to have some degree of believability. If in the midst, they say we corrupt, all we should be saying, please tell us more. Let us know what to make you say so. That's all I have to say. But if we can begin to look at Sierra Leone, and then quickly, we have to distinguish, because the word corruption would use expansively too wide.
Right.
Now, when we talk about corruption, I hope the audience will understand, say, kind of corruption with respect to people who are holding position of power or government position to whom and government trust have been given. Mm-hmm. So if me and you do business on the side, you know, government of, and then I hold you under water, not to that kind of corruption we talk. That's a different corruption. It exists. Then a dishonest. Yes. We don't say we get serious problem with honesty, but I will make a distinction. We only talk about corruption in terms of people to whom we entrust the country's interest, where they betray where they go in a different direction. So I want people to understand that. So I will differentiate that from with general practice of cheating each other, deceiving each other. So that's what I kind of corruption we will talk about. Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you very much. I will make the technical team play, even as we round up and wrap up. I will make the technical team play the audio from Lawyer Gevao, when one of the parliamentarians them where they don't suspend from in parliamentary duties them of oversight. They suspend them because I think the speaker say he abridged one of the rules of parliament, but me no say the speaker gets the right for suspend somebody where he democratically elected by the people. He go there for go represent the people, not the speaker, not the government, but the people. So I want to make we play that audio there, and then I will follow up with some quotations then we come out from them. And then I will follow up with another video. Just be patient with me, even as we round up. And I ask me final questions then, and we make we closing. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. I am sending this message because you actually asked for it as Commissioner of Human Rights. Commission, because I am a member of Parliament and I know your commission is a democratic institution. That is why I have decided to send you a voice message. I could have typed a message, but I am not in the right frame of mind because of what has happened today. As you might have heard, we went to Parliament today and a motion was moved for myself, Honorable Hindolo Moyo Gevao, and 3 others to be referred to the Ethics Committee. The charge levied against me was that I expressed my opinion on BBC that Parliament is corrupt. To that, I have no regrets. To that, I have no remorse. I did say so, and I stand by my statement that it is my view and perception, or it's my opinion, that there is corruption in Parliament. I will not change this statement for anyone. Because of that, in the motion, the House agreed that one of my functions as a member of Parliament be stripped of me. As a member of Parliament, it is one of my functions to provide oversight over ministries, departments, and agencies. That function was taken away from me today. In their words, they suspended me from all committees. If I am not a committee member, there is no way I can perform oversight function. So even though it was not the Speaker, even though it is not my colleague members of Parliament who elected me, it was the people of Sierra Leone who elected me, they have taken upon themselves, without going to the court, to strip me of one of my constitutional functions that I perform in the House of Parliament. The effect of that is the people of my constituency now stand to lose off having their representative from performing one of the 3 functions for which they voted him in the House. Added to that, before I aired my view on the BBC, I was chairman of the Human Rights Committee. The leadership of Parliament decided today to remove me also from the position as chairman of the Legislative Committee. But what really caught my eyes and really shocked me was when the Speaker derobed 2 colleagues in Parliament. Those 2 colleagues were referred to the Committee of Privileges together with me, of their title of being called Honorable. That really shocked me. I don't know whether it's a constitutional power bestowed upon him, but I also saw that one today. For all that has happened, I am relying upon God to fight a battle I call mine. If for speaking the truth that there is corruption in Parliament, this nation will sit by and see people punish me, I sit and await God to fight for me. I know for sure that 20% of the elitist population in this country has suffered in the hands of Parliament with regards graft. But for fear, nobody is ready to talk, nobody is ready to stand up to my defense. I don't rely on mortal man, I rely upon God. The God that created me, the God who said one should not lie, the God who made me take that oath in Parliament and for which I decided to be honest, that God will definitely fight this battle for me. For all of those who are conspiring to make me sad on this occasion for speaking the truth, the God I serve will punish them and their generations. If this nation called Sierra Leone fails to come to my defense, this nation will go through agony not too far from now. I am not a bishop, I am not a reverend, I am not a pastor. But mark my words, if the nation called Sierra Leone, a nation that is seized of everything that is happening in Parliament that I spoke of, fail to come to my aid and stand in my defense and allow me to be punished for speaking the truth, agony will befall the nation I call Sierra Leone. Thank you.
Okay, and I don't hear you waiting Honorable Gevao, the message we sent to the Human Rights Commission. Now, I want to read a message, and I also want to read the message, also a quote. I want to read a quote, and I also want to read a quote from and a quote from Honorable Ibrahim Tawa. I don't know if the technical team get a quote there. I'm sorry I sent it in a bit late, but I did send it in. If the technical team get them, make a know. If they not get them, I go read them. Okay, I'm not sure if the technical team get a quote, but for us not to waste time, it's I'm just going to read the quote. So, from Honorable, and I read, quote, "I am not a bishop, I am not a reverend, I am not a pastor, but mark my words. If the nation called Sierra Leone, this nation that is seeing everything that is happening in Parliament that I spoke of, failed to come to my aid and stand in my defense and allow me to be punished for speaking the truth, agony shall befall the nation I call Sierra Leone." End of quote. And that was by Honorable Indolo Marwo Gevao. The next quote, I read, "This parliament doesn't believe in people that have the ability to challenge the status quo and are ready to do the right thing." End of quote. And that was from Honorable Ibrahim Tawa Conte. Two amongst the parliamentarians that have been suspended from parliament, two of them, there are three of them that were suspended. Two of them, the speaker moved the motion to disrobe them of their title of honorable because he does not agree with what they have said outside the walls of parliament in connection to graft and corruption. And all three of them have been suspended from exercising their parliamentary duties, which also involved the oversights of ministries, departments, and agencies. What surprised me the most in all of this is that the House agreed to pass this motion. I go back to the president's statement of the 24th, which reads, "When one is appointed to serve one's country, one must do so with honesty, fairness, justice, integrity, and compassion. Do not make Sierra Leoneans, especially the children, victims of our greed." Now, before I end today's talk, make I give me panelists them a time to respond to waiting and then even as they give their final statement. I'll give you each 3 minutes as time is fast spent, even as I make my closing, even as we done today talk, when I'm looking into the courts of, Justice Bankole Thompson. We did not read the full document, but we had time to discuss the content as they've been presented to us, putting it into context. I will start with Madam Kadi Johnson-Cole. Your mic.
Yeah, stand with the two MPs then. That's all I can say for now. I stand with them.
Okay. Yes. So, Madam Kadi Johnson-Cole, in her statement, she stands with the two MP, and that's all she can say for now. Thank you very much. And these are your departing statements for tonight. Are these your departing statements for tonight?
Am I going to come back? Or
no,
this
is it. That's why I say I give you 3 minutes.
So, to me, the mere fact that the whole parliament, personal, first of all, they don't accuse this parliament, say, the parliament, for the first time in the history of Sierra Leone parliament, they accuse and say, the parliament will corrupt. You see? So, in effect, waiting and don't do to these 2 MPs there is a confirmation for saying they're corrupt.
Yeah, 3 of them. 3 of them.
Oh, yeah. 3 of them. A confirmation. You see, because this MP there, the try for top was corruption. But the only thing with this MP, they also, they just make a general statement. You see, it's just a general statement say Parliament corrupt. You see, but they not say why they say Parliament corrupt. You understand? Perhaps what I would have thought, you see, the Speaker or the people that inside the Parliament, they from Israel for understand from this MP, investigate this MP and find out why he come out with that statement. Say. Because I know say, when they get inside the walls of Parliament, people can say anything they want to say. You get me? Then they can come out of that, they happen. But when you look at it now, it go out, it make a statement outside, you get me? In effect, they can say it brings Parliament into disrepute.
Mm-hmm.
See? Yeah, it brings Parliament into disrepute. Having said that, you see, because it talks to the BBC and outside, you see. But then again, there's a possibility to say this man don't tire with all this corruption. You see. But one thing I for me like for know is when you know say this corruption, if you don't make an attempt for highlight that in Parliament and tell Parliament because we not been for no, it can tell Parliament say wait to make it feel to say corruption day. Then they look into the whole thing, you get me? But instead it just come out and say they corrupt. So in effect, I can see, even though I stand with them, I support them because we all they fight corruption. We don't have, because if Parliament corrupts, well then SALONE better not again at the country. Because now the Parliament actually now for make sure that the country straight. If Parliament don't corrupt, waiting again, don't let. So me feel to say, and that this MP the way they go say they are no longer MP. Mind you, now the people then vote for them. After the speaker then put on they vote for them. What they could have done, well, me can't tell because I don't know the workings of Parliament over there, you understand him, but you see, the man that belongs to a party, political party, therefore we deal with that man they internally. So say the party go deal with them internally after they investigate that, they then go no waiting for them. But they not go tell and say they're not so MP again. You get me? And when they for represent people then, you understand. But how me they say, but it not means that this suspension, I don't know how it works over there. You get me? But they can suspend MP them. I think they can suspend MP them because you do something outside Parliament. If that inside Parliament you've been talking, I'm not they come up behind that. You understand? But because it goes talk them out, but I really support them because me anybody they fight corruption and they support that person they. So long as they fight, because if Parliament we get for put a stop to everything. This man here, so some man they say, well, now whistleblowing, you understand? We have for protect whistleblowers and all that. Yes, it whistleblow, you understand it. But we need for know. People they need for know. The very Parliament they need for know. Could it be that you understand the person because everybody is involved in bribery, now make all man vote for pass this thing also for letting suspend this man? You see, because it's like let me lock him out one time. Because if we not lock him out quick, he will begin to talk about who. You get me? Or yes, or maybe not tactical voting and do because maybe sometimes they get a young motive behind we make them vote for support that. But let the case go on more and more. You understand? Nobody knows. You get me? So basically, for now that's waiting for say I don't know the workings over there anyway, so I just try for put 2 and 2. That's all. But I agree, I did with the people then. You understand? I did with them. If I be the place like SALONE say, I go help for campaign for them. Yeah, because anybody campaign for corruption, you see, I did with them.
Right. Thank you very much. I will go to Lawyer Shilon, what
Yes.
do you get for say?
Well, not much really. I think, well, first of all, I'm not familiar with the rules of parliament, so I don't know to what extent a member of parliament is allowed to say things that are not of parliament or parliamentary issues. To what extent one is allowed to say things outside the confines of parliament. Because I know every parliament get rules, and every parliament allows then get flexibility in the rules. My question, only as a lawyer, particularly as a lawyer trained in the United States, I just wonder, in a constitutional democracy such as Sierra Leone, whether a parliamentarian's right ceases to exist, in freedom of expression ceases to exist just because he's a member of parliament? Or are there certain things that member of parliament can say which fall within the purview of constitutional protection, the purview of freedom of speech? So the issue becomes, unless there are some implied rules or express rules prohibiting parliamentarians from making any negative statement against parliament, my issue will be, or my concern will be, whether within the former MP or the MP, which he say about parliament being corrupt, whether that falls within the purview of constitutional protection as with respect to freedom of speech, or whether, because he's a parliamentarian, his freedom of speech does not extend to that point. I will argue that his freedom of speech does not, being a member of parliament does not take away the protection where you get as an ordinary citizen. So was he speaking in his official capacity as a parliamentarian, or was he just giving that interview there, not in an official capacity, but as an ordinary citizen of Sierra Leone? And if so, if he gets punished for making that, is the ordinary citizen who is not a member of parliament, could he have been allowed to have said the same thing, that parliament is corrupt, without any fear or consequences? If the answer is yes, so I think the MP has similar right to express himself as an ordinary citizen. But it's like a double-edged sword, like you said earlier. It can be damaging. But again, I take the position that the parliamentarian gets a right for expressing himself, as unpleasant, as accusatory as it might be. I don't think that brings parliament into any disrepute. I don't think so. I think.
Okay.
Can I say one thing quickly, Matilda?
Go ahead.
Yes, everybody entitled to freedom of speech. You get me? But freedom of speech, where they do you freedom of speech, in the process of doing it, try not to defame anyone. You understand? Not defame anyone. If he gets evidence for say parliament is corrupt, because this is not a very big statement, even though are they in line with them, not a very big statement. If you get evidence for say parliament is corrupt, you understand? Then in freedom of speech will not be affected in any way. You understand? Just because you get freedom of speech, not mean say you go accuse people then for things when all right. You get me? You defame them. You see? But if it gets reason why he say that, and it can substantiate them, you understand? He is an MP. You get me? This is not an ordinary person who they class now as a whistleblower. You understand? This is not MP, so in right, and a lawyer for that matter as well. You get me? So say if you go out there, you go put any statement with defamatory. You get me? Anybody can come out and take action against you. You see, because you make a defamatory statement. But if the statement is not defame now, facts, he able to substantiate them. You understand? Then he able to call him to question for make you say why he make that statement. Say, You get me? Now that's some of me want to say. Just like I said earlier, I don't know how the workings operate over there. I just try to use common sense. That's all.
Okay. Lawyer Shilon, you've done your thought?
Well, you see, there's a back and forth with respect to freedom of speech. I think freedom of speech also, the Constitution should protect, as it is in this country, even falsity. You know, if in this country, I'm sure in England, if you say, you wrongly say something about a government official, I think freedom of speech allows you to do that, even if it's false. I don't think you're going to fall into any trouble. I think it is a different interpretation when I say that about you. I falsely accuse you, the individuals, then there will be an issue of defamation, and if unable to prove out. But if I make false statement against a government official, that's part of the job. You can say false thing about them, and you get free speech protection. But again, it's a very catchy area. I was just simply arguing that they didn't have the right to have said what he said as a citizen, not as a parliamentarian, you know. And I'm just trying to expand with you in terms of just don't look at him strictly from the standpoint of being a member of parliament, but he's also a citizen. And he writes them no disappear just because he's a parliamentarian. He still gets attached. So that's my point. But I think Ms. Kadi is also right. So there's argument on both sides. But these are some of the reasons why we need a solid Supreme Court, because this is arranged. So this member of parliament can challenge that if he thinks the parliament has taken extraterritorial powers just for punishment. That's why we need a solid, sound court. What would the deciding cases then there? Because this kind of disputes will always arise, you know.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. I will go straight, before I give my closing statement, I will go straight to, with technical team, there are 2 videos that I want him to play for me. Those videos are coming out of Nigeria. The first video, and this is why corruption has to be stumped. Corruption cannot be encouraged within a society. This is what greed and corruption does. This is not a video of where people then find out a hiding, a storage facility, 6x6 storage facility, na Lagos, where the Oba of Nigeria food supplies them, we come in for the people them, for distribute to the people them, where he put on there. And my guess is hoping that things will, you know, calm down and the virus will go away, and then they will make huge sales and huge profits out of these things. Make me watch them 2 videos and then I go give me closing.
Happening live as can see. As can see, people are listening. Look at them of Indom, they easy for us. What a country. And we're starving, we have all these things and we're starving.
So this is a warehouse that was discovered accidentally by protesters and people within Lagos. This now supplies them where then donate for the Lagosians then, the suffering Lagosians, the masses then. Waiting the Oba decide for do, he decide for just store the food supplies them and all of the supplies them na a warehouse, not distributing a single one of the supply. Why make you hold on to their supply then they where people and they suffer, people and they die of starvation, people not get thing for it. As I watch this video, I can't help but say to myself, I can't help but wonder but the thousands of bags of rice will just disappear in thin air like that. Thousands of bags of rice that were meant for the poor, that were meant for the teachers, the suffering teachers, the students, malnourished students and whatnot, that was meant for the school feeding program. Even when there are clear evidence for said there was malpractice, there was corruption, for some reason or the other, according to the ACC commissioner, he decided for withdraw for now and hold off for now and for re-engage later on. Now, when I see these things, it is easy for me to draw parallel to my country, Sierra Leone. You see, we listen to excerpt from the white paper of Justice Bankole Thompson, and we try for see some things them inside there. When we go and we look into the full report, we go see something them we go make you eye open and we go make you ask, say, is there a God? Now, let me tell you something, people. I go back to the president's statement of September 24th of this year, where it reads, when corrupt leaders build mansions and accumulate huge bank accounts, it is not for their ethnic group, religion, or political party to live in. It is for themselves and for their immediate families. I go to address caller number one. Caller number one, I not accuse Sandy of being a thief. I not accuse Sandy of being corrupt. I said he should and ought to be looked into. Waiting I say is this. I say if it don't serve na a government and we look at a pattern where certain names them, they come up, and then names them, they say they should be investigated further, or their assets should be seized. I'm like, it is jarring that when other names then come up, the result is satisfactory. I'm like, based on waiting we they see and experience right now, I'm like, it is highly questionable that these results are satisfactory, even as we look in this present moment and we see the lifestyle and the way in which some of these people are carrying themselves. I made an example, not directly questioning what he may have done or may not have done. Because when we look at things, we get to look at its entirety. We not just get to look at them because this is my tribesman, or this man has been loyal to me, or this person has been loyal to me. Because at the end of the day, the person where they suffer, na Mama Salone. Na Mama Salone in beginning they suffer, and rightly so, as the president say, they and their family benefit. You were Sidona, so they defend an individual. When you go to bed tonight, sit and really question yourself. Should I really be defending an individual, or should I really be for the interest of Mama Salone? Now, make I go to the Gevao and the Tawa situation. You see, Lawyer Gevao, in as much as I am empathetic with your current plight and with your current situation, you see, some 2.5 years ago, there was something that took place in Parliament when a certain person was voted as a Speaker of Parliament, not following the rules and regulations set out, established You were one of those who came out in public defending that move, defending the implementation and application of that move. So you see, they say when you point a finger, three always points back at you. At that present time, the sole honors for which you were elected into parliament, for which you stand for right now, that the people elected you to represent them, you failed then to represent the people. Instead, you were clouded by party and loyalty to party and loyalty to an individual. So you see, when we stand for the truth, let us stand for the truth in all honesty and in all sincerity. I applaud your move now because now maybe you've realized that you made a mistake then in not standing for the truth, in not standing for the green, white, and blue, but in standing for a symbol and in standing for a person and in standing for a political party. Maybe now you have realized that mistake. And maybe now you have said to yourself that no more will I stand. No more will I stand for a person or political party, but I will stand for Mama Salone and the people of Mama Salone. And so therefore, when the survey came out, ranking the Sierra Leone Parliament as one of the most corrupt institutions within Sierra Leone, and you were granted an interview, you spoke the truth, you stood in your truth according to your observation, according to what you have seen. And you did say you are not speaking for anyone. You are speaking your truth based on what you have seen and what you have experienced. Now, if for that truth you are being questioned, you are being maligned, you are being shamed, and you are being dishonored, trust me, the Sierra Leonean people are here. They are listening. And if it's for the right cause, they will stand by you. Trust me. The same goes to Honorable Tawa. Una no left make anybody intimidate una. Una no sit down make anybody intimidate una. Honorable Tawa don't team up na parliament, don't speak up so many times, don't call on so many things then. To the point where sometimes I think he's even become the black sheep within his party or something like that. But he has stood for the truth. That is why we vote parliamentarians in, to represent the people and to seek the best interest of the people. Nothing else, nothing more. To the Speaker of Parliament, I don't think say your powers extend to disrobe somebody from an honorable title. I don't think say your power extend that much. When we don't sit down inside this power, when this power don't switch to it, make we be careful waiting what they do. Make we be careful the precedents them where we they set. This is a situation for me personally where the Supreme Court for intervene. This is a situation personally where I think the Supreme Court should intervene, because you cannot infringe on the rights of parliamentarians just because they stood by the people and they stood by the nation and they spoke the truth. They spoke their truth. It was their truth that they spoke. We may not all agree with it. We may not all stand by it, but it was their truth, and their truth has to be respected and be dignified. That make we vote them. Now that make we send them there. For go team up for Mama Salone and for team up for Mama Salone in Bikindem. Somebody said the Honorable Gevao the cost Mama Salone. Why make it the cost and swear Mama Salone? What did you have to say when the First Lady sat down in broad daylight and say we go swear? We go swear. Oh, we're so quick to point fingers, forgetting the words of yesterday and how we were so quick to vuvuzela and to clap. Yay! So listen, if na swear go make them change, we go swear. So yes, If in his swearing, there will be some transformation for the positive, make he swear. Yes, just like when all been team up open and I'm not say yes, we go swear. So make we swear. Because sometimes the prayer and the swear join together go make something happen. Maybe it will bring about the change that we all have been craving for even before we were born. Maybe it will bring about the change that some of our parents craved for. Our grandparents wished for us. Maybe it will bring about that change. So yes. Why? Why make we for Sidom and truly believe, say, there isn't any form of corruption going on in parliament? How many times have there been presidential nomination for approval to parliament? How many times have you seen a rejection come back, coming back and say, this person is not approved? Based on the simple fact that they are so with we some of the nomination, they are so with the team up, they say, But how many times have we seen these names and this nomination go to parliament? Every time, yes, full approval. Who is doing the vetting? And who is doing the bidding? And at what cost are they doing the vetting? And at what cost are they doing the bidding? Who are they bidding for? In whose interest are they bidding on and for? That is the question I leave you with tonight, my people. Next week, we're in Biobel Scott or Biobele Scott, and we will tear it down even as we move forward. I want to thank Mr. Mohammed, Lawyer Mohammed Shilan. I want to thank Madam Kadi Johnson Cole. It's very late her time. It's a matter of fact, it's in the morning hours. So I applaud your dedication to your nation. I applaud your sacrifice to your nation because it is a labor of love and it requires a great deal of sacrifice. For you for Sidom this morning time and they discuss and they discuss issues, provide solutions to better the nation of Sierra Leone. Once again, my people, as always, Corona is real, Corona kills. Una observe una social distancing, una wash una hand them, una wear una mask them. May God bless we all, and may God bless Mama Salone. Until we meet again, waiting with a defend this wall, may God give him. Make it continue for cover we all, and make it continue for protect we all. Una tata.